Morning, everybody, and welcome to the TrueRoofCost webinar. We're thankful that you guys have joined us today. We're going to do a demo of the application, but first I'm going to walk you through a couple of introductory slides. My name is Bill Crawford. I have Pam Bogaczyk here with me today. We're both from the IT department. Chad Berman couldn't make it today, but we're going to show you his name and information in case you need to be in touch with him, as well as Chad is our product manager for this digital product. And I wanted to just start with a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, we have all attendees on mute, but that is just for the sake of clear audio. If you have questions throughout this presentation, please type them in the questions box. We will be answering questions at the end for anything that's come up. Also, we'll be walking you guys through some slides with contact information so that if you have questions as you begin to use the information, use the product, you'll have access to both Chad and the product team as well as us in IT for any kind of help that you might encounter as you start to use the product. So thank you guys for using the product, and I'm going to start by introducing TrueRoofCost and what it is. Many of you have used TrueRoofCost in its previous versions. If you have, you know that TrueRoofCost is an in-depth tool used for comparing thermal energy loss through roofing systems. It's designed primarily for helping you sell insulation by allowing you to compare 2 to 4 roof assemblies side by side and model the thermal transfer of heat and cooling through that top layer of the building. And it's most effective for helping you model estimates of annual cost savings for your customers. It really helps you shift the conversation from a price point and lowest price for the roof system to a conversation of the cost of ownership. And it really illustrates the value of a high-performance roof system for those of you who are used to making that sales proposition. We have been getting a lot of great feedback how this product can help you position yourselves in the field. A lot of folks tell us that it really gives them a leg up over their competition because you've got a really nice-looking report. You've been able to successfully shift the conversation off of price, and it also kind of establishes you as a person who understands roof systems and what's happening with the thermodynamics, and almost helps you consult with the building owner to help them understand the best choice for their roof systems for the long haul. So this is most effective for building owners that are going to be owning and operating the facility for a long time. But we have also found people who have said that just having that report in the submittal package or having it in the first conversation, it gives them an extra opportunity and helps them stand out in the crowd just because of the way the report looks and feels, and it gives you a little bit of an extra leg up. There's a few things that I'll mention about the new version that we've really focused on for TrueRoofCost. First of all, if you've used the old version, it could have been cumbersome. There was a lot of data entry. We've really reduced the entry of data down to the essence of what we know that you need to run the model. And we've made some assumptions for those parts where we felt that we could, and made the whole thing a lot simpler. So you can get to a report faster, and that's a key. You don't need to set aside an hour or 2 hours to set up reports. You can do these very quickly. And as a result, we're hoping that you'll be able to use them in a lot more of your sales conversations. We've also changed the reporting engine out entirely. The old version of TrueRoofCost used to use some very basic engineering formulas to generate the estimate of energy usage. We've replaced those energy models with a more advanced tool that is based on DOE2 calculator developed by Oak Ridge National Labs and the Energy Administration. So now any of the numbers that you get back from our model will match the models that are run at the federal level. These calculators, the Cool Roof Savings Calculator that uses the same engine, is an industry recognized and has become the most popular, most accessible calculator across the entire industry, which is why we chose it to power our tool. So that should remove any barrier for folks who are afraid that the numbers might be questioned, because those numbers are now the ones that are generated directly by Oak Ridge, and we will show you that in the product. Thirdly, we have worked hard to make the report simpler. The old report was a number of pages, up to 6 pages, and in some cases you had to generate multiple reports to get your story told. We've now boiled the essence of the sale down to a 1-page front and back report. We've added lots of visual components that are very meaningful for telling the story of the most effective roof assembly and that's what we'll demonstrate for you guys today. It's much better to hand this report out in our testing than the old report. In addition to having the report be more simple, we've also allowed it to have more information, more comparisons. In the past, if you wanted to compare several assemblies, you had to run several reports. With the new version of TrueRoofCost, you can compare up to 4 roof assemblies simultaneously in one report. You don't have to. You can do 2 roofs side by side, or you can do 3, or you can do up to 4. So you can have the baseline roof or what you're selling against, as well as a good, better, and best that you can present to your customers. And it's very clear and easy for them to see which one is the most efficient roof system. And lastly, we've enhanced collaboration. We got a lot of feedback from users of TrueRoofCost that the person generating the report isn't always the person selling with the report. So we've taken advantage of that fact and built some collaboration into the application so that you can have someone in your back office, your energy specialist or your administrator, whoever you'd like to assign that work to generate the actual report and do it on behalf of one of your sales folks who are going to take that report and deliver it to a customer. We'll walk you through that and show you that in the demonstration, but this should allow you to spread the load of creating reports within your organization. A couple of things we wanted to point out for technical requirements. If you are going to use this application, it is web-based. You will need internet access to generate the report. Once the report's generated, of course, you can transmit it by email. But we did build the application to support all of the most popular desktop browsers. It is optimized for Internet Explorer 10 and above. Most versions of Firefox will have no problem, as well as Chrome and also Safari. And you can use the Safari browser on a tablet if you have an Apple tablet, and most other browsers for tablets should work fine. But keep in mind, this is not a tablet application, but rather a web application you would run inside of your web browser. You do need to have a Versico web account, and you can get those accounts at TrueRoofCost.com if you don't have one currently. The application is integrated deeply with your Versico account, so you'll see that when you sign up as well. When we do the demo, I'll show you where that comes in. Okay, we're now going to turn this program over to Pam. She's going to walk you through a live application demonstration. We'll show you how the application works and what you can expect while you're in the software. And again, keep in mind, if you see things you have questions about, please type those questions in the question box, and we'll address them all at the end.
Hi everybody, again my name is Pam Bogaczyk. I'm part of the IT group here that helped build this program, and I'm going to go ahead and run you through TrueRoofCost as it is. When you log in, as Bill said, you need a Versico account. There's also a link on that first page to go ahead and view the legacy version of TrueRoofCost, and that'll take you back to our previous version if you're used to that and want to see the difference or need to get back to previous projects. So once you get logged in, this is basically your dashboard or your home page of projects that you've already put in. We're going to go ahead up here and do start a new report. So first you get to a prepared by screen. This is myself, of course. If the information that pre-populates here is incorrect for any reason, you can hit edit contact info, and that'll take you back to the Versico website so you can edit your own info and then pop back here and it'll fix itself. Here is where you could also pick a different contact. If you're creating this report on behalf of somebody else, you can go ahead and put their information in here if you wish. Once you get that filled out, you hit save and continue, which will take you to customer info. And just by the way, if you didn't see it over here on the left, you'll see our progression through each step as we build the report. So we are on customer info. Here you can select an existing customer in the program that you've already put in, or you could edit or create a new person there if you wish. Once you have the customer you'd like to work with here, you can do save and continue, which takes you to the facility location. And you can go ahead and put in a project name. We'll do a test one for now. And then the address, we're going to put in a real address here. It's really important that you use a specific address because it uses energy information across the U.S. You want to make sure you get that right. I'm going to go ahead and put in our headquarters here. In Carlisle. And then if you'd like to put a local minimum R value here, you can if you wish, but you don't have to. If you do, it will show up on the report. So I'm going to go ahead and do save and continue. Okay, so here's where you put in the facility conditions as it is now. I'm going to say my roof area is 100,000 square feet. I have one floor. Here you can select the term that you want to work with. I want to do 20 years. Heating type, you can select natural gas or heat pump. What this does is it kind of pre-populates the pricing on gas and electricity automatically based on your known area, so you don't have to worry about it, but you can edit these prices if you wish. And then facility type, I'm going to pick office. If you're interested in explanations on the differences of these facility types, where you can send them to you after the webinar, we have those. And then construction type, for this report I'm going to pick new construction, but we also have recover, which is you're going to leave some of the roof on and then overlay new stuff on top. Or of course we have a re-roof, a complete tear off of what is there and then putting on new. So for this report I'm going to select new construction and save and continue. And then here in this last step, this is where you add different roof systems to compare to, up to 4 as Bill said earlier. You can start by adding the first one. So for this one I'll do black EPDM, and you can either select to add the total insulation R value, or you can add individual layers if you wish. You can do either or. If I did it this way, my first layer, I can choose whatever I would like there in the depth, and then a second layer. And then the second layer, I can do another one here, and then I'm going to save that. So that's the first system I want to compare to, and it takes you automatically to your roof system 2. So on this one, we'll go white, and I'm just going to add a total insulation R value here of 18, and I'm going to save that. Now I could keep going and add more roofs, or I can compare these two. I'm going to go ahead and compare the 2 that I've already put in. So all you do when you're ready is hit View Report in the bottom right. And then this is actually talking to Oak Ridge right now. It's going to go get the numbers and then come back and show you the report. Okay, so the reports come back. It shows you, of course, your prepared by information you put in, the prepared for information. It shows the project information you've put in, and then here it shows a quick image of the heating degree days and the cooling degree days based on where you're at. And then it goes down into the roof system summary. This is for 1 year. This is the first system you put in, and then the second system that we went ahead and compared to. So it shows you your estimated annual savings of $1,360. So that's good there. And then if you go to the second page, we have another visual for you on roof system 1 versus roof system 2, the heating and cooling degree days again. And then at the very bottom is the 20-year analysis. We picked 20 years, if you remember, back in the program a little bit. So system 1 versus system 2 over 20 years, you're going to save over $28,000 of energy costs. If I wanted to, I could go back from this point and add a third roof just to see what the difference would be. So So I'll go ahead and choose a black one and add a total R value of 35 just to see what the difference would be there. I'm going to save that. And then I can go back and regenerate the report. So that's going to come back, if you see with your 3 systems here, for 1 year, you're going to save over $7,000 with that 3rd system information that you put in, which is really good, of course. And then if you go down again to the 20-year, you'll see the huge cost savings there right away. So you can see how this report could be really useful when you're working with your customers on trying to upsell insulation based on the roof systems that you choose. All right, and then I'm going to go back to Bill. We have a question.
Thanks, Pam. As you can see, the application doesn't take very long at all for us to demonstrate, and it will take you just about as much time to generate these reports. So we're really hoping that we've removed every barrier that we could to keeping you from running these reports on every job. Before I get to the one question we have so far, I'm going to take you guys through one more quick slide on the application. We want to make sure that you guys know what to do if you need help. So to get support information for anything related to selling with the applications, if you have sales-related questions, we want you guys to talk with Chad Berman, our polyiso lead. He will be able to answer those kind of questions and help you guys share information on how best and most effectively to sell with this application. And Chad sends his apologies for not being here today, but wants you guys to have his contact information. Feel free to reach out to Chad for that. If you have technical questions, if something is malfunctioning with the application or you see unexpected results, something wrong, we want you guys to come through us in the IT department. And the best way to do that is with the help that's built right into the software. At any time, if you run into an error or need assistance from IT, you can click the question mark in the upper right corner that says labeled help, and you'll see a dialog that will pop up. You'll have both phone information there as well as a form that you can fill out, and that form will go directly into our help desk where we'll address those issues as quickly as we can. We do recommend that you use this form or call our help desk because we can get you quickly connected to a technician that can help you get you unstuck and make sure that your issues are taken care of. I'm sorry, someone wanted to see Chad's phone number. I'll just go back to that for a minute here. Chad's phone number is 717-245-7235, extension 7235. All right. So I also wanted to point out one other small detail. If you are a user of the legacy version, of the old version of TrueRoofCost, you can still access that version. We're not going to take it completely down for some time so that folks can get access to their old reports. And to get to it, all you have to do is go to TrueRoofCost.com. Instead of logging into the new tool, you can see that link at the bottom below the login that says Access Legacy Version. We will leave that link up for a little while, and we'll let you guys have access to your old reports through that link, and you can continue to use that application to get to old data. We do recommend that you switch to the new application, and we very much welcome feedback on it as it is newly launched. We expect that you guys will run into lots of situations that we will want to talk through with you. So feel free to reach out to us for that kind of help. And speaking of assistance, we did receive a few questions, so I'm going to bring those up. And let me just talk them through. We got one from Alan Jorzak, which says, what happens if I encounter an older building still using electric heat? And Alan, the Oak Ridge National Labs only supports the 2 types of heating that we had listed there. The most similar to electric forced air would be a heat pump. Especially in northern climates, it'll be very similar to what you have for electric forced air heating. But we're at the mercy of Oak Ridge National Labs, which has that as one of its downsides. We have to go with some of the restrictions that they have on the model. And we can talk about that with you more if you want offline. Another question we received was, can we change the building type from office to hospital? That building type, you can name your project whatever you want, but let me just go back to that building type on the facility screen. That's also something that's dictated by the Oak Ridge model, and those are references to what they call reference buildings that are built by the Energy Administration. The 3 most commonly used out of the 50+ reference models that the Energy Administration provides are office, retail, and warehouse. When you choose one of those from the drop-down, what you're actually doing is telling the model which reference building is most closely resembling the one that you're modeling. They don't have to be exact, but it takes a set of assumptions about energy usage and occupancy and a whole bunch of other engineering details, and it uses that as the base for the modeling. It then takes the inputs that you provide and it adjusts that reference model to try to get as accurately a depiction as it can for what your energy model might look like in real life. Again, it is a model. I stress that because we can't magically predict the customer's utility bill, but what this does do is model for them the thermal transfer very accurately, the difference the roof system will make on the thermal transfer. So if you get questions about, hey, my utility bill is much higher or much lower than that on a monthly basis or annual basis, just remind your customer that this is a model and that the difference between the roof systems is pretty accurate, but the total overall spend, of course, can vary slightly based off of the assumptions being made in the model. So keep that in mind. I have a lot of engineering information that I can provide to folks who get asked that question, but that is one of the inputs to the model. Here's the basic way to think about it. The usage assumptions being made in the building selection. If you choose office, you're going to get the highest energy assumptions for usage. If you choose retail, you're going to get kind of a moderate usage of information of energy, and your numbers will be in the moderate range. If you choose warehouse, it really assumes that the building isn't really temperature controlled very much and there's not a lot of occupancy, and the average warehouse is not going to spend a lot of money on energy. So you're going to get really small numbers if you choose warehouse. My advice is just to try to pick the low, medium, or high that most reflects the usage that your building, that you're modeling, is going to be closest to, and you'll get enough to have the conversation. So again, I'm not an energy engineer, but I've done a lot of reading about this. If someone wants to have an offline discussion, we can do that. So you can change the building type. You can't change it to hospital, but you can use the office as a model since that's a high occupancy situation, and you'll get to just label it however you want. It should be very close to what you should expect at a hospital for just the heating and cooling load, not all the equipment and all the other things that are in a building. I know that's a long answer, but we do get that question a lot, so I hope that helps. We have a question that says, how do we adjust electricity costs by region? We already use your regional data. It's usually at the state level what the averages are for your state for energy consumption. We take historic values from ASHRAE and we populate those for those default values. That is not to say that you can't type those over. If you know what your utility rates are for your customer, please feel free to overwrite that. That's why we have those as text boxes. But we populate those defaults with what we know from historic data, just like we always have in TrueRoofCost. So then when we do the 20-year analysis, we use average assumptions about average inflation based on the history to project into the future. Obviously, when you start talking about what's going to happen 20 years from now, that's just an estimated, an educated assumption about the inflation rates and all of that applied to the modeling output. So the further out you go, the higher those numbers would be, but you're also making a lot of assumptions with the inflation occurring throughout the future of the term. I've got another question which says, I missed the beginning of the audio. Is the username password the same as the Bogaczyk login? And the answer to that question is yes. You should be able to use your Bogaczyk login just like you would on the website to access the application. The person who asked the question is saying that they're having trouble accessing it. Dave, I'll pass that on to our technician right away. If anyone else has trouble, please reach out to our help desk. We'll get you guys straight. We should be able to log right in with your Bogaczyk credentials. Dave, you'll also see, I'm not sure if you made it that far in the presentation, but you'll also see that we pull your information automatically into TrueRoofCost. Your address and contact information come in from the Bogaczyk website. So everyone might want to take a look at their profile on the Bogaczyk website to make sure it looks pretty accurate, because that will be populated into your reports for TrueRoofCost. Okay, I see no other questions at this time. I wanted to thank all of you guys for attending. We got a really good turnout on this webinar. We're very excited about this product. We really do believe that it's going to make a difference based on the early release. We got a lot of great feedback, and we're looking forward to having you guys on board. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to Chad or to my team. We'll be more than happy to assist you guys. Thank you for using TrueRoofCost. We hope you sell a lot of insulation with it. Have a great day.